Hello out there, my friends. It is I, Hondo Onaka. Now you know what to do. You must tune in to my favorite podcast, the Fiveish Fangirls. Otherwise, there could be consequences.
The Dodgers this week continue all the way to episode 516 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. My feet are tired. My wallet is empty. I'm exhausted. I'm not entirely sure what day it is. I would say that's signs of a successful convention experience.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like a new week with a virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Bengal.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone. Back in Indianapolis, Indiana. Like, I literally just got home, like, 30 minutes ago. It has been a very long day.
I can imagine.
Worth it, but still very long.
Mm-hmm.
But we will get to that. First up, we do need to do the news. Thankfully, it has been quiet on the news front, which, all things considering, we'll take that as a win. Well, that being said, we are looking at our first awards ceremony of 2026.
Yowza.
Shalane messaged me several days ago. She's like, only 100 days till the Academy Awards. I'm like, oh, good Lord. That's
Wait,
not
what?
that far away when you think about it. Yeah. Which
Yeah.
means it's even
Like,
less than
wait a
100 days
second.
now.
Yeah. Less than about 3 months, a little over 3 months, give or take.
Yeah. So we just got the Gold Globe nominations. The ceremony is January 11th. So, of course, the Golden Globes covers film and television, so only some of these are relevant, but still, as far as the Oscars are concerned, the movie stuff is important. But television, just because that's the order that that's a random order. It was listed on the one I happened to go to the list that E! Online had posted, so in no particular order except the order that it's in this article. Best performance by an actor in a television series drama. We've got Diego Luna for Andor. That's good. We do have Noah Wiley for The Pit, which if the Emmys are a sign, you may walk away with that. So we'll see. Score for a motion picture. I actually haven't seen any of these movies, so there's a couple of recognizable names there. Ludwig Göransson. I've seen his name before. I think they meant Hans Zimmer. They put Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure there's a Hans Zimmer, but I don't
probably
think
a
there's
typo.
a Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
So, let's see what else. Best song for motion picture. We've got both of the new songs for Wicked for Good. So, No Place Like Home, which is sung by Elfie, and then The Girl in the Bubble, sung by Glinda. So that's 2 there for Mr. Schwartz. For all the K-pop demon hunters out there, Golden has been nominated. So,
Not surprised, honestly.
No.
yeah. Let's see here. Television actor, not really anything that we covered there. Male actor, television, musical, or comedy. We got both Steve Martin and Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building.
Yay!
Yay! Female actor, television, musical, or comedy. Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building.
Woot.
Yay! So it's like very recognizable names. It's just like, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. So animated motion picture. We have Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Zootopia 2, among others. So supporting female actor for a motion picture. Got Ariana Grande, Wicked for Good. Let's see here. I'm surprised that Mr. Cho was not did not get a director nomination for Wicked for Good. Like, a lot of this stuff, like, I recognize it. I just, it's like, I haven't seen it, and I'm probably won't. So, female actor, motion picture, musical comedy, Cynthia Erivo, Wicked for Good. Good. Only Murders in the Building get nominated for Best Musical or Comedy Series Television. So that's good. Best Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. If that isn't a, hey, you made a shit ton of money, good job.
Right?
Mhm. Yes.
So, so yeah, you got your big box office winners here. You got Avatar, Fire and Ash, which is that even technically opened yet?
I don't think so.
World, like, at least in the United States, if not worldwide. I don't think it's even open. I think it opens this week. So,
I guess they're
K-pop,
expecting it.
yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, Wicked for Good, Zootopia 2, Best Podcast. That's new.
Ooh.
Yeah. Except I'm pretty sure all of those are celebrity and or very, very big podcasts
Yeah,
that have
probably.
a lot of support behind her. So not us. Uh oh. Oh my. So yeah, not really a whole lot there left, I think. So, as far as anything else that we might talk about, at least now, but things to keep an eye on come going into the Oscars. So,
Mhm.
like, some surprises, some not. So, I mean, Wicked for Good did not get a nomination for Best Picture musical drama, so interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. And I would say, well, it's because it won last year, but it didn't win last year. So, um, that stupid, weird musical with about the Mexican drug lord who has the sex change won last year. So, uh, I can't remember the name of, but anyway. I guess we'll see how things fall as far as who gets wet on January 11th. So, but that means we are on the fast track to the Academy Awards. So before you know it, we're going to have to start planning for next year's competition. So, all right. I mean, I guess the variety keeps it guessing. It keeps us guessing. So can't make any assumptions. Anyway, we are in a new month.
Yes.
So that means book club update. Final book club update of the year.
Mhm.
As scary as that is.
Yes. This book, the book for this month is the Tales After, and then our poll for January has Amorality Tale, Fear Death by Water, Frankenstein, the Patchwork Man, and Dracula. Yes, I know some of those are Halloween themed, but those are newer books, so if they don't get voted in, you can most definitely expect them to be on October's list for spooky things.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough Christmassy themed stuff or wintry stuff to add to the list.
Yeah. Hey, but nothing says crippling seasonal depression in the middle of January like a spooky book.
Right.
I say that as somebody who suffers from seasonal depression. So, anyway, if I mentioned I'm tired. Oh, I'm so tired. Anyway, there is that book club, and in the feeds before I spent my entire weekend next door over in Ohio, I did accomplish recording latest episode of Gold Standard for the feeds, where we with returning guest Greg Vorb from among other things, Star Trek: The Undiscovered podcast. Also, he's got all sorts of irons in the fire. Actually, he's actually passing over the reins for Star Trek: The Undiscovered podcast, so that he can focus on one of the other spinning plates he's got going. But for now, you can definitely find him there, but you can also find him on the most recent episode of Gold Standard, the Oscars podcast, where we talk about the movie he brought to the table only because he got to it first before me. Is the 1984 amazing, one of the best movies to come out of the 80s, if not one of my favorite movies of all time, Ghostbusters. Which, funnily enough, today was the anniversary of its release. So, something like that. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, 41 years. Which, of course, a lot of fun to talk about because Ghostbusters is the best. Like I said, we only got to it. It only got to be Greg's movie because he got to before it. Yeah, I got around to playing that card. So, oh my. So there is that, and then we've got feedback from Shalane. So she starts out talking about because she was a theater major in college. She acknowledges that Rocky Horror is definitely college and up as far as appropriateness. hence hence the little trouble I got into in theater class in high school, as I mentioned in that episode. And things like Rocky Horror, Sweeney Todd, Rent, Cabaret, Chicago. Those are not the high school. You're not likely to see high schools do. There are some where you would not think, but there are some like high school or junior versions of some shows. There is actually a more school appropriate version of Beetlejuice the musical, actually.
Yes.
So you could see I've seen video of a high school doing Beetlejuice. I mean, obviously Beetlejuice, he's very extreme. And the version that's in the musical is very much coded to the Michael Keaton Beetlejuice, not the cartoon. But I think the high school version probably edges more to the cartoon version of Beetlejuice. So it's a slightly more family friendly. And take out the couple of F-bombs that appear in the show as well. So But yeah, there are like versions. There's even a it's supposed to be. I was supposed to have seen it. At least I thought that's what I was saying. Is a uh, maybe not so much like censored, but like as far as running time version of Les Mis, where it was all like 18 and under, but it was actually pretty much the entire show. So I don't know if they just went for it or what. But yeah, there's like a lot of high school versions. There's companies out there that they have made those, and schools can get the rights to do them with all of the scripts and the music and everything, usually at a cheaper rate than if they, like your local theater might do with adults. So yeah, there's usually it's an educational air quotes version of a lot of these musicals. You can go out there on the internet and look, and you can find all the information out there of what companies offer what and rates and stuff like that. So because it's like the high school I work at, they just did their musical for the year, but they did Seussical, so it's gonna be family friendly no matter what. So it's actually really cute. Some of the songs in there are actually quite catchy too. Uh, so, but yeah, for the most part, at least some of my favorite musicals are never going to be done at when I was in theater class, we even talked about that, like what shows the school I went to would never do because they're just not appropriate. So funny enough, Grease. We'll talk about Grease one of these days, but the stage version of Grease, very different than the musical that most everybody knows. So significantly different. Like characters' names are the same. It takes place at Rydell High. That's about it.
Scenes and scenarios pretty different.
Yeah, a little bit. So, back to Shalene's feedback. She mentions that this is yet another musical we've talked about this year. Yes, it is. It's also another big anniversary year movie we've covered this year. Yes, because every year we could find an anniversary for at least something. Yeah, she also says she's waiting patiently for when we finally pull Tim Curry's name from the hat. Like you and me both.
And Rachel's being a good girl and making sure it doesn't get up to the top, though. I wouldn't blame her.
That's why I do the digital. That's why I've switched to the digital version. It keeps me honest. It also keeps the pieces of paper from sticking together. And then I have to, like Solomon's baby, yeah. Which
one?
Which one should I drop? I don't know what I got, but what if I drop one that's like not cool? Not that we don't have anybody in there that's not cool, but still, you know what I mean. And then she mentions that sometimes she'll watch the movies, especially for Gold Standard, because she knows that what's coming on the schedule. So, but sometimes she will watch the movie to get ready to listen to the podcast, things like Jaws and Spaceballs and Wizard of Oz and stuff like that. So, she says she loved the Moana live action trailer. It looks beautiful. Moana is her third favorite Disney princess after Jasmine and Mulan. All my top 3 now have live action movies. I'm happy Lin-Manuel Miranda returned for the music. I plan to wear my Moana Her Universe outfit when I see it on my birthday. Hey, man, if you can't wear a themed outfit on your birthday, when can you? Well, really, any other day. But, I mean, definitely on your birthday. She says, I honestly think Frankenfurter fits right in with Ursula, Cruella, and Maleficent. Yeah.
I could see it. I could see it. Chaos Crew. Big time.
Yeah, a little bit. Let's see. She says, I forgot to mention earlier, I'm also a casual fan of DC heroes. For X-Men, I was getting into Marvel, mostly the MCU, and now the X-Men are part of the MCU. I'm still just a casual fan, which is fine. Yeah, just because I'm a big MCU fan does not mean I'm suddenly going to become like a major fan of the X-Men. I got my favorites, and I like my favorites, and and maybe another one may come along and be like, "Oh, I love you," but for the most part, I got my favorites. And the rest of them are like, "Hey, cool, welcome."
Yep.
I'm like John McClane in Die Hard. Welcome to the party, pal.
Pal,
Except
exactly.
except less sarcastic.
Yeah. More
that was on
welcoming.
That was on TV last night. It was only had like 20 minutes left. I'm a hotel. I got cable.
You were sitting down to watch.
Actually,
the
no.
I
stopped. I stopped myself.
Oh.
I stopped myself. I'm like, no. We watch this on Christmas Eve. We're good. But I watched the end of Pitch Perfect instead.
Okay.
That was on a different channel.
You got willpower.
I got willpower.
I would be watching.
Yeah. Like, nope. I'm gonna be good. Like, it's like Christmas is not that far away. I can wait. I'm good. So I desperately needed to pack. So that was also part of it. So I would get distracted. Pitch Perfect, I can sing. I don't need to see it. I could just sing along. Sorry, for James Cameron's Avatar, honestly, I love Pandora Disney World and the version coming to Disneyland more than the movies. I still enjoy the movies based on theme park attractions like Pirates, Jungle Cruise, the Haunted Mansion, and I'll rewatch Avatar when my friend and I finally planned our Disney World trip. I agree. Like, I only ever seen the first James Cameron Avatar. That's all I need to see. But great. At least up until I got to experience Galaxy's Edge and Avengers Campus, Pandora blew my mind as far as the theming and what they'd accomplished in the Disney theme park. So, at the time that was like, oh my God, they've outdone themselves. So, yeah. I mean, it makes for great section over at Animal Kingdom. So I agree. When I became a casual fan of those movies, I also fell back in love with blockbusters like the MCU, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, The Mummy, Man in Black, Jumanji, Wonder Woman, Indiana Jones. Visiting Disney World and Universal helped me love them even more. Yeah, when you get to feel like you're actually part of that world, that does make a difference, I think. I found out that David Hyman, the producer of all the Harry Potter movies, is also the producer of Barbie. Cool. Let's see. Around this time of year, we used to get musical live TV specials like Sound of Music Live, Hairspray Live, Annie Live, Grease Live, and Rent Live. It's how they don't do them anymore. Me too. I always hope for West Side Story Live, My Fair Lady Live, or In the Heights Live. At least we have the Wicked movie now, but I still wish these would come back. Me too. I mean, they did do Hairspray Live, which I really enjoyed. And they did do Grease Live, which was pretty awesome. And they did do the Wiz, proper Wiz, like what you'd see on stage, not the movie, which was pretty awesome for people to get to see how the Wiz is actually supposed to look. So, but yeah, I do kind of wish they would bring back the live musical performances. That was one of those things that I think kind of disappeared with the pandemic, and nobody is bothered to be like, hey, this is a thing that people might like to see again on their television.
Right.
So, of course, it was NBC that did most of those, and we're getting ready for another Olympics. So they're gonna be a little occupied here shortly. Maybe after the Olympics. I realized Wicked is Ariana Grande's first acting project since Hairspray Live. She paused acting to focus on music, and now she's back and successful. Next, she'll be in a Meet the Parents sequel, and then a Dr. Seuss movie. I wonder if she'll ever officially be a Disney princess. She was almost cast as Ariel, but Halle Bailey was amazing. Maybe. Oh, I mean, Wicked is technically technically was it Warner Brothers?
Might
Who's
have
the
been.
studio? Is it Warner Brothers? Or is it Universal? I know they've got Glinda and Alfie at Universal in the theme parks, but they also have Harry Potter, and that's Warner Brothers. So I was just thinking because Warner Brothers is like people. Netflix said they were going to buy Warner Brothers, and now apparently Paramount has come out of nowhere, and we're like, no, we want to buy Warner Brothers. So now Warner Brothers is the center of a bidding war.
And does it Netflix also want to buy Paramount?
I have no idea. I don't know how
Right.
this is. I don't know how this is gonna work. How this, yeah.
That's what I thought, that they were trying to make a move. Netflix
Yeah,
is
but
trying
I
to make a
guess
collateral move
I
for
get.
both, but
I
we'll
don't
see.
know, but I guess if they want to buy, if they're trying to buy Warner Bros. With the Paramount, is like, no, Paramount must have found some money. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how that falls, how that shakes out. So
Yeah, we'll have to see with that, when
yeah,
the laws with things getting all monopolized here.
yeah. Let's see here. So Stephen Schwartz worked on Wicked and is also on Pocahontas, Hunchback, Enchanted, and Disenchanted. I think the epic inspirational style of the scores is similar. Just like Macon and Ashman's Little Shop of Horror influences can be felt in The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. It's similar how the Disney revival feels like a second renaissance. John Williams' scores for Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Jurassic Park all share that signature style. Same with James Horner's music for An American Tail, Land Before Time, Balto, Jumanji, Titanic, Avatar, Casper, and more. You can always tell his work. That is true. Like, you know a John Williams score when you hear it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Distinctive sound.
Yes.
You know.
Yep.
Well, just like
Very
Hans Zimmer and some of the others, as soon as you hear those chords or that tempo, it's like, okay, that's that guy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So, well, thank you, Shalane, for your feedback as always. Now, moving on to this week's main topic. I get to tell you why I'm so darn tired. So of course, I was at over in Columbus, Ohio for the weekend for GalaxyCon Columbus, which is now kind of my end of year, capping off whatever calendar year it is, convention. Opportunity to see Zan, if and when she's there, Charles Skaggs, if and when he's there, our friend of the show and friend of Gold Standard, Aaron, if and when he's there. So it's kind of become just kind of a regular thing that we just at least I go to GalaxyCon Columbus. So Chauncey did go this year, although he actually only went to the convention on Sunday. Though he had his own thing Friday. So he didn't arrive till late. So he just had Saturday to rest, recuperate, and go do his own thing, which we'll get to at least part of what he did, because it was totally a Chauncey thing that he did. Yeah, those of you that know him, you'll be like, that tracks. So, but I myself arrived earlier on Friday. So I wasn't in too much of a hurry because the only thing I had scheduled on that Friday was I had a photo op with Weird Al
Yay!
that I bought that was purposely just for me. No offense to my husband, but this was just for me. And so I got loaded up all my stuff, I live in an apartment, like a lot of people do. I'm not on the ground floor, so I have to take an elevator. The elevator is at one end of the hallway, and I'm almost to the other end of the hallway. And I had like my suitcase, and then I had my other bag, like I had my purse, I had all of this stuff, and then I get out the door, and I'd be like, oh shit, I forgot something, and I have to go back to the apartment and try and find it. And then I get all the way down the elevator, and I'm like, wait, I think I'm missing something else. And I was like, well, I'm not dragging this all back to the apartment, so I just left it sitting there in front of the elevator. Walked all the way back to I could see it down the hallway. It was middle of the day on a Friday. Nobody was home except for me. Wasn't even the middle of the day. It was late morning. Most people are at work. So I go back to the apartment and I'm looking, and then I realized that I already had the thing that I thought I didn't have on me.
Oopsies.
Yeah, so it's like, okay. I shut the door, lock it, go all the way back. I hadn't had any caffeine. I had didn't have any coffee or nothing yet. That was part of my problem. I didn't want to be carrying a drink along with everything else. So finally get down, load up the car, stop and get something with caffeine, and I stop at the ATM, pull some cash. Then I hit the road. The road from Indianapolis to Columbus, Ohio is almost a straight shot east on 70. It is a very dull drive. There's just not really anything interesting going on. You're not having to pay attention for ramps to get on different interstates and stuff, because it's pretty much the same interstate the entire drive. Coming from Indy, you're just going east for 170 something miles, I think. So slightly under 3 hours. It is a boring drive. And I'm by myself. So of course I gotta keep myself entertained. Thankfully, that's where audiobooks come in. So I'm quickly getting close to completing my goal on Goodreads for the year. But at some point, like you do, I had to go to the bathroom. And the thing is, near Richmond-ish, Indiana, if you've driven on 70, y'all are not going to in this area, you know what I'm talking about. There's a place called Warm Glow. And kind of their thing is, from the interstate, you can see they have this big, I don't know what the dimensions are, but it's like the height of the building. And I don't know how big around this is, but it's how you have your roadside attractions, like your like the world's largest Dixie Cup, which I've been to. And the Michelin, the giant lumberjacks that hold mufflers and crap like that. This place has this big ass candle that is outside their place of business, because that's their thing, is they sell candles, among other things. And I was like, you know what? I've driven by here so many times going to and from this part of Ohio and further east, and I've never stopped here. And they advertise that they have clean bathrooms. It's like, you know what? This is as good a place as any to stop to go to the bathroom. And I can finally see at least part of what the inside of this place is like. So I park, I go in. It's about what I kind of expected. It reminds me a bit like Bronner's, the Christmas place up in Frankenmuth, but on a smaller scale. And their thing is candles instead of ornaments. Of course, right now they're focusing on winter and or holiday themed stuff to go with said candles. So a lot of their candles for sale right now are your things like your fir tree, your hot cocoa, your scents that you would equate with this time of year. They also still have some year-round scents as well. But they sell everything from the little wax bars that you just kind of melt, all the way up to really big multi-wick candles. and they also have like the other home decor. So they like, people walk into your house, it smells like a fir tree, and you've got Santas and elves and all sorts of Christmas decor all over your house. And people would be like, "Whoa, I just walked into, Santa's workshop or something," Um, so, I use the facilities. They weren't wrong in their advertising. Very clean, very nice. A bit dark, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Very tall ceilings, so the lights are like really high up there. Uh and I was like, well, I can't spend too much time, but I do wander a little bit to see. They have like one wing where it's not necessarily like their stuff, but like they offer, it's almost like if like a antique slash thrift store kind of moved into one wing, so there are people selling like homemade jewelry and other knickknacks for the house, and upcycled clothing and stuff like that, and like your kitschy decor signage that people like to put in their houses, like pictures of like chickens and stuff like that. So I just kind of do a speed walk through the shop, that and the rest of the shop. But they also have a counter where they have their own homemade desserts. They have like these big truffles that are like huge, among other things. And they also have coffee. So it's like, I would like some coffee, please. So I got one of their Christmas themed drinks, which was a white chocolate mint latte. So it was mint, not peppermint. So it was very mild, but it worked. Caffeine worked. I was like, if it's like, I'm coming back through here, I'll probably have more time on Monday. I'll try to stop back in. So I get my caffeine, I get my coffee, get back in the car, go. Make it to Ohio. It's not quite time for me to be able to check into the hotel quite yet. So I'm like, well, I'm here. Time to stop at Tim Hortons. Because that's what I do when I'm in Ohio. Everyone's got their preference. I get it. I know the people that live there, some of them are like, ugh, Dunkin' is better. I'm looking at you, Charles. But you know what? We don't have Tim Hortons. So when in Rome, they tried to bring Tim Hortons to Indiana. It lasted like a week.
Oh, wow.
They put it out in Avon, about as far away from the interstate as you could get, off of 465 in Avon. Like, that was the worst location to try and get Tim Hortons to work in Indiana. Like, at the very least, it needed to be closer to the highway so that when people don't have to go completely out of their way to get it. So supposedly we're getting a Buc-ee's, and
Oh.
they've got it narrowed down to 2 locations, and one of the locations is close to me. Do you know how exciting that is?
Nice. Very.
Like, I'm on the south side of Indianapolis. When we get exciting stuff like IKEA and shit like that, it goes up in the north side. We don't get exciting stuff on this side of town. So please, Buc-ee's, off chance you're hearing this, please put the Buc-ee's on this side of town. We need it. We have the space. The north side's crowded. Nobody puts anything down here. We've got plenty of farmland for you to buy and build a Buc-ee's. I'd be in so much trouble. I'd be buying so much beef jerky. It's not even funny. But so yeah, so I stop at Tim Hortons, get some more coffee. This time I get frozen coffee, or at least iced coffee, frappuccino. And some Timbits, like you do, and a sandwich. Because I needed actual food. And then made my way into downtown Columbus and pulled into the parking garage for the hotel. We stayed at the Hilton, which we've stayed at before a couple times, at least once before, if not twice. And get parked. And I had the app because I got most of the hotel chains, the most common hotel chains. We have rewards memberships, either Chauncey does or I do. So it's like I got a Hilton, rewards membership. So I got the app, and it's like I could check in online and bypass the front desk. And look, they have this thing called a digital key. I was like, that's gonna save me so much time, she said, knowingly. And
or so you
somewhere
thought.
somebody laughs. Exactly. So I've got all my stuff, and
Hugh Morgan Freeman, right?
Still Morgan Freeman, Danny Glover, take your pick.
Yeah.
After a while, you start feeling like Danny Glover, like I am too old for this shit.
Nice Lethal Weapon reference there.
Yeah. So it's like I look all my stuff over. I get up to the floor that our room is on. I find the room. I got the app, and it's like, digital key ready. And I get there, and I'm in front of the door, and I push the button. Nothing happens. I'm like, well, maybe I need to I need to wave the phone like right in front of the lock, and I do that. Nothing happens. I turn the phone facing the other way. Nothing happens. So then I'm looking at the app, like, did I forget to do something? Like, do I need to be connected to the Wi-Fi or what? So I'm looking, it's like, no, I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. Bluetooth is on, not a problem there. So I'm looking, and it's like, I find the need help section of the app, and I'm like, yes, I do need help. And they're like, what do you need help with? I'm like, digital key not working. They're like, and it's like, well, it's like, we're sorry to hear that. You can send a message to the hotel via the app, or you can call them. I'm like, sweet. Like, so I try to send a message. Digital key not working. Message will not send. Even connected to the Wi-Fi. Message will not send. So I'm like, okay, well, let me call. So I call. And it rings, 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 and it rings. And I'm like, well, of course, nobody's answering. It's like 3:00 in the afternoon. It's check-in time, and it's the first day of a 3-day convention. Of course, they're probably busy, and they're not going to answer the phone. And the poor housekeeper is down the hall trying to do her job, and she sees me out there struggling. And she's like, do you need me to call somebody? Or she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I can't get the digital key to work. She's like, can I call somebody? I'm like, no, I already tried calling. They didn't answer. I'm going to have to go down to the desk, which means I have to take all my stuff with me, because I can't just leave it sitting there in the hallway.
Right.
It's not like the hallway of my apartment. This is different.
Yes, very different.
So then I have to grab everything and then go back to the elevator, down to the lobby. Thankfully, I managed to time it well so that I didn't have to wait long. So I walk up, and I'm like, I already checked in. I just can't get the digital key to work. And they're like, were you standing close to the door? Because you have to be kind of close. I'm like, if I was any closer to the door, I would be passing through it like the T-1000 from Terminator 2. I could not get any closer to the door. So they made me physical keys, which was good. So, but then I had to take my stuff and go back up. Back all the way to the room. Thankfully, the physical key worked. So I got in, dropped all my stuff. Sat down to try and decompress for a second. Make sure there's nothing weird about the room or anything. It is with hotel rooms. You just never know. Even the ones that are supposed to be at a higher standard, you just never know. But room seemed to be good. No weird smells, nothing odd. Bathroom worked great. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go get my badge. And at this point, it's going on 4 o'clock. My photo op with Weird Al is at 5:15. So, uh, I I get what I need to be able to go get my badge and everything. Thankfully, the Hilton is connected physically to the convention center.
Yay!
So you're able to take a walkway that's connected to a hallway that feeds into one of the upper floors where there's some like ballroom slash like smaller convention room type spaces, meeting rooms. Everybody, no matter which way you came in, whether it was that hotel connection, there's also the other hotels are directly connected as well. They have their own hallways that you come from, or if you came in like the main doors to the convention center out on the street on the first floor, everybody had to go through a metal detector. Thankfully, because the Hilton has that nice little hallway that's just for us. I mean, honestly, I guess anybody who could come into the Hilton if you knew where you were going and go up and go through that way. Like there was hardly ever a wait, which is what the point I'm trying to make. That will be important later.
Mm-hmm.
So I go through the metal detector, no problem. Get down there. The will call line is so long.
Uh-oh.
And there are people like trying to direct traffic and everything. Because at this point, like the floor is open. Stuff's happening. Panels are happening. Celebrities are in there doing autographs. Photo ops are happening. Vendors are selling their stuff. So it's just foot traffic everywhere. And there's convention volunteers trying to, keep traffic. Something resembling organization that's really like hurting cats. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm standing in this line for will call. And then they're like, if you have deluxe or VIP, your line's over there. I'm like, I got deluxe. I end up walking, bypass this entire will call line up to where the tables are, and there's like 2 people in line.
Yay!
I'm like, I like this. Like, this is why I spend the money.
Well, worth it.
For the better badge. So, among other things. So I get my badge. I will say that I'm sure this was a cost-cutting measure, but the badges this year, flimsy as hell as far as the quality is concerned. Like, I easily could have accidentally ripped mine off of the lanyard.
Oh, wow.
If I wasn't careful. Like, it was like years before, they've been like the super hard plastic, like what a credit card's made out of almost.
Right, yeah.
This was paper and they didn't even bother to laminate it.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wowza.
they were just paper.
You're lucky you didn't spill anything on it.
Yeah. Well, they handed me the badge and then the lanyard. I had to put on the lanyard. I was afraid I was gonna rip it. Just trying to get it onto the lanyard. So yeah, like I get it. Maybe the heavier plastic card material might be more expensive. In that case, with the whatever money you're saving, buy a freaking lamination machine or something. So
Or just say, hey, if you want the sturdier pass, there's going to be an upcharge of so many. I'd pay for the upcharge.
yeah, I was like, I'm already paying for a more expensive badge. Like the more expensive badges should be
on higher quality
maybe
stuff.
if you're the higher quality, because I got to make this last the entire weekend. It's like I have a DIY badge that I put on my lanyards for these things that has a QR code that takes has my picture and takes it to our website. That I
Cool.
printed out and got it laminated at the library because I wanted to last. Good gravy. So yeah, so I finally I get my badge. I stopped by the other booth to get my fast pass button thing because I'm in the hotel block, which also comes in handy quite a bit. And finally get inside the vendor hall. At this point, it's 4:15.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, well, I don't have a lot of time to kill here, so it's like I guess I'm just gonna wander a little bit till it's my time to go, to the photo op. So that's what I do. I do a drive by of Zan's husband's table. I'm walking by. I'm like, "Hi, Chris." He just kind of looks at me, like,
Hey,
"What?
Rach.
Who?" Yeah, I don't even think it registered who I was. To be honest, I don't think it. I was like, it was a drive by. Zan said he's also a little bit jet lagged too. He's been traveling quite a bit. I was like, that's okay. Like I said, it was a drive by. It was one of those where I was just walking by, like, hi, and kept going. Uh, um. So yeah, I wander a little bit, and then it's time to go get in line for the photo op. And I'm waiting for my turn, and I'd had an idea of what I wanted to do as far as a pose. Because like I said, this was gonna be just me and Al, no Chauncey. As I have told this story before, and finally got to tell Al actually back in July is 25 years ago. I sent a letter via snail mail
Oh, that's right. Yep.
to be my prom date, asking
Uh-huh.
him to be my prom date. And I didn't hear anything from him. Now, when I told him this in July, he asked, did I go? And I'm like, no, you did not. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, he didn't get to be my prom date 25 years ago. But now it's like, now it's getting ready to be the 25th anniversary of my high school graduation. And that got me thinking of high school reunions.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, he wasn't my prom date, so we didn't get the prom photo together. But what if we had a little bit of a Romeo and Michelle moment?
There you go.
Even though he also did not go to my high school. I was just like, high school reunions makes me think of Romeo and Michelle. Um, so, yeah, I pull up the poster just to like remind myself of exactly how the pose is. And it gets to my turn, and I walked up and I'm like, do you remember the poster for Romeo and Michelle? Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. He's like, remind me. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, kind of their tops of their bodies are facing each other, and then they've both got like one leg up in the air. And he's like, okay, so like this, and he grabs my hands, and then we both put our leg up in the air, kicked up behind us, and poor gal is trying to take the photograph, and thankfully she gets it because Al was actually starting to lose his balance.
Oh boy.
Oh
He almost fell, and I'm like, I'm not going to
Whoopsies.
be responsible for making Weird Al fall over.
Yeah.
But thankfully she got the shot. So yeah, we have this I have this amazing photo of me and Al just like holding hands and like legs up the air, smiling at the camera, like, woo, look at us, we're fabulous. Uh so it's like, forget Romy and Michelle, it's Rachel and Weird Al. Of course I posted it in the Weird Al subreddit, and like one person understood the reference. Everyone else was all like, what? Yeah. And one person that was like, oh, Postus must be really lucrative. I'm like, yes, somebody gets the reference. So that was my my moment there. And then I went and I think I wandered a little bit more. Because I like to get like a general idea of the vendor floor. Maybe not at this point where anybody specific is, but just be like, okay, well, let's see, the authors and stuff are mostly over here. Yeah, you got like your people that hand make stuff, they're over here. The people that are selling like pre-made products, like your stuffies and like your weapon, your prop weapons and stuff like that are over here. Like over there's all the gaming stuff. Like your fan groups are over here, like your Ghostbusters and the like. I was like, okay, yeah. Um, all the celebrities, they're over here. Um, and I was hungry. It had been a long day. So I ended up going to Barley's, which is right across the street. I've eaten there several times since I started going to this particular convention. It's it's not a, it's like a pub, but a slightly nicer pub for being a pub, I guess. They do have sports on. They do have TV showing sports, but it's not like a sports bar where it's like a 5 bazillion TVs. It's more like a couple of TVs, in the corner there, and then maybe in the corner there. And they're not like the sound and stuff, pumping in the sound and stuff. So I got dinner. It was good. It always is. And then I went back to the room to chill, and unpack some stuff, and just kind of chill. Take a quick shower, and climb into bed. And Chauncey calls, and he's like, I'm going to be there super late. I'm like, no problem. I told him what the parking situation was. I told him where I was parked in the parking garage if you want to park near me. I told him, which way, like when you exit the parking garage, this is the way you want to go for the door, and this way, turn this way, down this hallway for the elevator, that sort of thing, because his memory isn't nearly as good as mine, especially when it's getting to places that he hasn't been to very recently. And I was like, I've got a physical key for you. Like, you could try to use the digital key on the app. Maybe it'll work with your phone, because his is an Android, mine's an iPhone. Like, otherwise, just call me, and I'll open the door for you. It's like, it's fine. I'm not getting up super early. I can get up long enough to open the door for you, which is what he ultimately ended up doing. So I let him in. Like, here's the room. I'm going back to bed. Good night. I'll see you later. I'll talk to you later. Which is pretty much how it went. So I got up a Saturday. And again, I wasn't in a huge hurry that morning, so I was able to take my time, get dressed, that sort of thing. And eventually made my way downstairs with the piece that I'm using now to collect Doctor Who autographs on. For those that remember, for the longest time, I had this giant poster. It's like the same size that like movie theaters use. And it's just the front door at the TARDIS, essentially, with the police public call box open for, where you open where the telephone is. So it's got a lot of white space. And for the longest time, I've been using that to collect Doctor Who autographs on. And I actually ended up retiring it after Lexington a couple years ago, I believe. Yes, I believe so. I think I retired it after that. I think Warwick Davis was the last person to sign that poster. Good old Porridge. And Emperor of the Universe. And because it's a paper poster. So, yeah, every time I want somebody signed it, if I was going to something, I'd have to pull it out of the frame, roll it up for transport. And of course, I had like one of those tubes that you put posters in, but still the constant rolling it up and then unrolling it, manhandling it so that people could sign it, rolling it back up, taking it home, unrolling it, getting it back into the frame. It's just becoming very fragile, getting very wrinkled and creased in spaces. I'm like, if I keep doing this, eventually it's going to get torn or damaged in some way. And it's like, there's way too much time and money invested in that big ass piece of paper, essentially, for me to risk any potential damage to it. So eventually it got retired. But I have this painting that my brother's partner painted for me for my birthday or Christmas something years ago. And at my old job at IU, when we still had cubicles before they'd switched to an open floor plan, it hung on the wall on my cubicle. And then when they started doing the construction for the open floor plan, it came home. And then obviously the pandemic happened. And then even once we started going back to the office, it's an open floor plan. I don't have a wall anymore. So it just ended up going on the wall at our apartment here. It's just like an acrylic, looks like space with some stars. It's got glitter and stuff, and it looks like the TARDIS flying through space. She's not really a Doctor Who fan, so like I don't think she necessarily got what she was painting, but she knows I love Doctor Who, so it was very sweet of her. So, but again, it's got all this open space. I was like, well, that's as good as anything, and it's a good size, so I should be able to fit a good number of autographs on there, and it's a bit sturdier, because it's a piece of canvas, a wood frame. So I was like, oh, it's as good as anything to start collecting autographs from, and good old James, James Marsters. Who most people know as Spike from Buffy, although we also know him as the voice of the Dresden Files in the audiobooks.
Yes.
But he was also in an episode of Torchwood.
Yes.
So he is
John
part
Hurt.
of the he is part of the Hoovers. So when he was at PopCon several years ago, that's what I had him sign.
Very cool.
And I really haven't had any Doctor Who people since then. So it's just been kind of hanging up in the wall, which is his signature. But thankfully, this time around with GalaxyCon, we've got Billie Piper, who obviously, for those of us that came into Who with New Who, she's our first companion with Rose Tyler. And I even told her when she was signing it, because she's like, oh, this is very pretty. I'm like, thanks, my sister-in-law painted it for me. And I told her, it's like, I had this poster that I was collecting autographs on, but it just got too fragile. Otherwise I would have brought it, because it's got Chris's signature on it. I would have liked to have her and Chris together, but it is what it is. That just means David Tennant's autograph is going to have to go on there whenever that opportunity arises. So at least I can have Billy and David together. But yeah, so they had Billie Piper, who, she's a sweetheart. She's very jet lagged. The poor girl. She was doing her best. She tried to be polite to everybody and be very sweet, but she was also she's like, I'm so jet lagged. So I'm like, no, I totally get it. It's like, I only had to drive like 3 hours in the car. You flew over an ocean. Where there's a 5-hour time difference. I totally understand. It's like, I'm still in the same time zone that I'm used to. But she signed it. And it's a good thing the hotel block, they offered that fast pass button thing. So because pretty much all the celebrities, they have their regular line and then they'll have a shorter line, very much like Disney, or a lot of theme parks where it's like there's a shorter line where you're not going to have to wait as long for like the other people. And so with Billy, I was able to jump right into, her fast pass line. I didn't have to wait very long. Then there's Simon Pegg, who, to be fair, he was only there Saturday. So, I mean, Saturdays are always your busiest day for these conventions to begin with. And then you have a celebrity like Simon Pegg, who's only there on Saturday. And you're just asking for crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So they were having to cap his regular line. They were also having to cap the fast pass line.
Oh, wow.
Just because the sheer number of people, the line was getting so long, it was snaking back into where the walkway is supposed to be.
Holy
no.
cow.
So we
That's
just
not
kind of had to stand back and wait. And then when one or the other would get get some space, then the person managing it would be like, okay, another fast pass person right here, regular line, I could take 2 people for the regular line. So I still didn't have to wait very long to even get in the fast pass line. And then once I was in the fast pass line, I still didn't have to wait that long. It was not terrible at all things considering. And but what's funny is there was this gal in front of me that she was super sweet. I don't remember her name, but she had a service dog with her. She was dressed as Perry the Platypus in one of those like onesie, like fuzzy type outfits. And of course I'm like, oh, Perry the Platypus. But she has her service dog with her, which looks like some sort of poodle mix with like a chocolate lab or something, would be my guess. Just based on the color and the look of it. But so we're very close to the front for Simon Pegg, and as you're looking at Simon Pegg's table, to the right is Ben Schwartz, which you may not know his name, but you may know his face, especially if you watched Parks and Recreation. He played John Ralphio, who was friends with Tom, and a very particular way of speaking. Just put John Ralphio Parks and Rec into YouTube and you will see what I'm talking about. It's hilarious. We quote him all the time at home. But he's also the voice of the Sonic the Hedgehog in the movies right now. So, and he sees her service dog and he's all like, because with working dogs you're not supposed to pet them. But he asked, he's like, can I pet your dog? And she's like, Sonic the Hedgehog wants to pet my dog? Absolutely, of course.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
He's like, you asked, so yes, you can pet my dog. So he's loving it. He's like, he walks around from his table and he's leaned over the partition and he's just, behind the ears, and he's like, oh, Jesus, you go down, and she's like, does this now count as my like meet and greet with you? Because I was gonna wait in that line. and he's all like, absolutely. Here, let me sign an autograph for you.
Aww.
He's like, you let me pet your dog. I'm gonna sign an autograph for you.
Yes, exactly.
So he signed a Sonic picture for her and gave it to her, and her brain short-circuited there for a second, because she's like, holy crap, Sonic the Hedgehog wanted to pet my dog.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, and I think her service dog knew this is a special occasion, so he's like, I'm gonna take this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So thankfully, and after he was done, the dog was like, "Okay, let's go back to work." Uh, watch her brain is short circuiting. I'm like, girl, I've been there. I've been there with the celebrity interaction where your brain short circuits. So thankfully, it kicked back up online enough for her to remember like what she was paying for as far as Simon Pegg was concerned. And picking a picture and stuff. So so she got her thing, and I paid for my autograph. So and she had her interaction with Simon Pegg, and then it was my turn. And sat there in front of him. He's like, "Oh, Doctor Who," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's been a while since you were on there. People may have forgotten." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I was on there when Billy was on there." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like 20 years ago." He's like, "Yeah, actually." He's like, "That was a long time ago." I'm like, "Yep." Because of course, most everybody was either there for the Coronado trilogy, so Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, take take your pick, or actually that was most of it. Most of it was either Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz. Although you did have a few Star Trek people, a few Mission Impossible as well. So I don't think he got a whole lot of people that were like, "I'm here because you were in Doctor Who," but he was super nice. Um, yeah, sign my picture for me, and then that was it. But it was so busy in there, so loud. That I was like, okay, I'm gonna decompress here for a second. So I was like, I went back to the hotel room to drop that stuff off because I was just like running into everything, even though I had it in a bag. It's still just big and it's cumbersome. So I was like, I'm gonna I did the photo op with Billy too. So I did do the pro photo with Billy with the Duff Door. So the Duff Doors now got to meet Rose Tyler. Um, but I was like, I'm gonna go take all this and drop it back in the hotel room and see if Chauncey's awake. So I did that, and he was not up and moving necessarily. He was watching Saturday cartoons, which, you know what, more power to him. Why not? It's a free country. Yeah, you got you're technically on vacation. You do you, boo boo. So I told him how my morning and early afternoon went. I was like, "Yeah, Zan's gonna be here." Like, I've been messaging Zan. She's like, "Yeah, she's gonna be here, a couple hours or whatever." Um, he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm gonna get up. I'll get dressed and cleaned up eventually." And then he's like, "I'm gonna go out." I'm like, "Cool." Uh, so I messaged Anna. I'm like, "I'm gonna go get food, then I'll be back." Um, so I ended up going to the restaurant. Actually, if you go out the doors at the same end of the convention center where they have like the will call, that big intersection. There's a number of restaurants, but there was one on the same side of the street as the convention center that's like a sports bar and restaurant type thing. And it's definitely more of a sports, like it's one of those places that has like 50 televisions, all showing different sports and stuff. So I was like, it's as good a place as any. So I go in, they're still serving their brunch menu at the time I went over there. I'm like, sweet breakfast for lunch. So I also may have gotten a cocktail that involved fruit juice and other adult liquid
beverages,
beverages as well, because it's brunch. Like, mimosas are great, but when they offer this, it's got other flavors in it too. I was like, I'm gonna go with that. And then I got their strawberries and cream French toast.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It was
That sound good.
really good, and it came. It's so cute. I got a picture of it. I'll post my pictures on put them in an album on our Facebook. But it came. It's a French toast. Served to you about how you'd expect French toast to come, where big chunks of bread cut into the triangles, because that's how you do with French toast, is you cut it in the triangles. And it came with some bacon. It was good bacon too. And so it came with the bacon. It had strawberry sauce, and then actual strawberries, and like mascarpone cheese. And then it also came with the old milk bottles, but this was like almost like a kid-sized milk bottle with strawberry milk in it.
Oh wow!
Then also came with, like, it said on the menu, it said, when it all came with it, it says strawberry milk, and I'm like, I didn't think anything of it, and then it came, and it's in this like little kid-sized glass milk bottle. I'm like, oh, that's cute. And it's like, it's strawberry. I can't tell you the last time I had strawberry milk.
Right.
Chocolate milk, maybe, but I don't know the last time I had strawberry milk.
Strawberry, yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's so cute.
That's nostalgia right there.
Yeah.
Right?
So, of course, I ate the entire thing because I love breakfast food to begin with. So, breakfast with cocktails? Heck yes. Absolutely. And so I'm sitting there, I'm taking my time eating, because I know Zan's like, I'm gonna be here between this time and this time, and I'm like, no problem. It's like, I take my time eating, read a book for a little bit, use the restaurant's Wi-Fi for a hot second, and so then I get done, go back over to the convention center, go to Chris's table, and there's Zan. And Zan's actually talking to Aaron, friend of the shows, multiple shows, Aaron. And I was like, because I wasn't expecting to see Aaron. I knew there was always a possibility, but as forewarned, and by no surprise to me at all, cell phone reception once you're in the vendor hall absolutely sucked ass. It was awful. So, cell phone reception was bad. I kid you not. Like, when I was waiting in line for like Billy and Simon Pegg, again, to try to make sure that I complete my book reading goal for the year, I had audiobook going on the Libby app on my phone. I've got noise canceling headphones. I'm like, I can listen to the audiobook. It's going to help drown out all the noise of all the people. It was affecting my Bluetooth.
Oh wow! Normally that doesn't
because
happen.
because of how much like technology was being used.
So there was they were probably eating up a lot of bandwidth was getting eaten up, and that they weren't really.
Well, I just think there were just too many signals,
or that
just
too,
bouncing around, because it's like, like it took forever for the headphones to pair with my phone, even though it's like, it's right here. Like, I'm holding, like, I've got the headphones in one hand, phone in the other. I'm like, they're right here. Connect.
I could just lay them on top of each other and sandwich.
Yeah, and then when it did connect, like, I'd be listening to the book, and then it would cut out. Like, I was losing like a radio signal. I was like, I think there's just too many different signals between people trying to use cell phone signal, the Wi-Fi. Obviously, a lot of the vendors use like the tap, like the Apple Pay or whatever that uses Bluetooth. So it's like, I think there was just too much going on, and it was making my Bluetooth act wonky, which sucks. But, you know, it is what it is. So, but yeah. But yeah, trying to message like anybody to be like, hey, where are you? You know, they might get it eventually. So it was just kind of a crapshoot. I just got lucky that I was able to message, probably because I was on my way out.
Yeah.
On my way out the door outside. So it was easy for me to be like, hey, I'm gonna go get food. And she'd be like, great, I'm gonna be there between, this time and this time. I'm like, great. It's like, and I know where Chris's table is, so it'd be easy enough. So yeah, Zan's like, hey, Zan, it's like long time no see, even though I just recorded with her 2 days beforehand. And then Aaron, I haven't seen Aaron in a hot second. So we chatted a little bit, and Zan was like, I wonder if Charles is still here. And so she messaged Charles, hoping that maybe he'd get it. And he was. So then Charles showed up. So we had a nice little podcasting listener
Family reunion.
family reunion. So talked about what we'd done and which autographs we'd gotten, and the like. Zan really wanted to get Matthew Lillard's autograph because he's in Twin Peaks: The Return. But his line was super long, as it was the entire weekend. Pretty much, he had a line the entire weekend, which strikes me as funny because I see him at Gen Con, but he's there in the capacity of Matthew Lillard, company owner,
Beatles and Grimm.
Beetle and Grimm. So he's not there in the capacity as like a celebrity guest or anything. So, he's not doing autographs and stuff like that. But it's still just kind of funny to see him at a convention in the capacity of Matthew Lillard. Yes, I was in Scream and live action Scooby-Doo.
Right.
Type thing. So it just kind of cracked me up because it's like, I see him at Gen Con all the time. It's like, oh my, it's just interests, I guess. So yeah, we chat a little bit, and that sort of thing, and then Charles had to go. We made sure to get a picture with all four of us. Zan's husband Chris was nice enough to take the picture, because Aaron was going to take the picture of Charles, Zan, and I. I'm like, no, Aaron, you got to be in this too, because Nick will say something. If we just post a picture of Zan, Charles, and I, and he found out you were there and you weren't in a picture, he's going to have a conniption. It's like, pics or it didn't happen. It's like Nick is living vicariously through all of us. He wants to see all four of us together. So we got a picture of all four of us, and was able to put it in the chat, and Nick was like, yay! And then we went our separate ways. Well, Charles went, Aaron and Zan and I were still talking, and then Chauncey was I think because it was getting later in the day and people were like leaving to go to like dinner, and Ohio State was playing that evening. So I think some people were starting to exit for that as well, because it was a big game for Ohio State. So I think that helped a little with the cell phone signal, the less people. So Chauncey messaged me. He's like, I'm going out. Chauncey decided to do a pizza crawl.
Cool.
So if you know anybody that's done like a bar crawl, or maybe like a food tour, or like a food train, something like that, or sometimes people go from like house to house to house, and they'll start at one house with appetizers, the next house they'll do like the salad, and then the next house they'll do the main course, the next house will do just interesting different ways of experiencing different foods or whatever. instead of just going to one place and staying there. So, but Chauncey and I's thing when we travel quite often is we like to check out whatever the local pizza is, because pizza's like his thing. I can take it or leave it, but a lot of times if you get a pizza place that, you know, is trying to do more than just be an average pizza place, usually they can have some interesting things, like different appetizers or stuff like that. So we tend to hunt down what a locally owned and operated pizza place when we go to a new city. Now, we've been to Columbus several times at this point, and the first place that he tried, he keeps going back to, is this place called Eagle Pizza, which technically is not in Columbus. It's in the burbs. It's like 15-20 minutes out of town in this really swanky neighborhood. But he fell in love with Eagle Pizza, but he's like, I want to try others. So I say something to Zan and Aaron, because they're both locals, and they were giving me suggestions. And we have a friend, Chauncey and I have a friend that used to live here when he was a little kid, and he kept telling Chauncey, you got to try Tommy's Pizza, because that was the place that I went to as a kid. Like, he would take his bike there to go get pizza. He loved this place so much. So that's, Chauncey was taking everybody's suggestions and, seeing where they were as far as location, and then, it was like, okay, I'm going to do these three. So the first one he went to was Planks. And he liked the atmosphere Planks a lot. He's like, I would easily go back there with like me, he's talking to me. He's like, I'd easily go there with you, Zan, whoever, and just go hang out there and eat dinner, have beers, that sort of thing. So he was doing beer/pizza, but he was getting the pizza to go. And while he's waiting on his pizza order, he would have a beer. So, we always try to drink local as well if we can. So he always, he's like, what do you have on draft or whatever that's locally made? That's usually how it goes. So he's like, yeah, Planks we usually go back to as far as atmosphere, and like, pizza wasn't bad. He ordered the Hawaiian pizza, which I guess the thing with Planks is their crust is on the sweeter side.
Oh, okay.
But with the Hawaiian pizza, which includes pineapple, because pineapple can go on pizza.
Pizza, yep.
They put cinnamon on their Hawaiian. So this ended up almost being like a dessert in a way, except for the ham. But even the ham, it's kind of sweet. So it ended up being more of a sweet pizza instead of a savory pizza, which was actually kind of nice to balance out the other two, because the other two were obviously savory pizzas. But that was pretty good. It was different. I wasn't expecting the cinnamon, but actually, I kind of liked it with the pineapple and the ham.
I really want to try that.
I mean, you could put brown sugar on ham, so it's not a huge shift to go to cinnamon. So, I mean, I have a cousin that would not be able to eat it because she's allergic to cinnamon, but
yeah.
Beyond that, but those are the types of things that like we're kind of looking for, when we try these local places. So then he went to Tommy's, which was our friend Colin's childhood pizza place, and he got meat lovers from there. Like he wouldn't necessarily want to get like just 3 like plain cheese or 3 just pepperoni, but he also wanted to be kind of similar so that we could easily compare and contrast. So he also didn't want to do like Hawaiian at one, veggie lovers at another, where they were just so completely different. So he got the meat lovers, which wasn't bad. I'm not a huge fan of Italian sausage, which is usually what most pizza places use when you put sausage on pizza. There's just something about the seasoning that goes into kind of that traditional pizza sausage I just don't like. I don't know if it's the fennel or
that
what.
could be.
But it's just something in there that I do not care for. This was not bad, all things considering. Their crust, oh my god, like a Ritz, like a saltine cracker.
Ooh, nice.
Thin and crispy, so good.
Yum.
That's how I like my pizza crust, is like a saltine cracker. I want it thin and crispy. So I was like, I want it just solid enough that when I pick up the piece, it doesn't fall apart.
Right.
But when I bite into it, you still get that crunch from
and
the
the
crust.
toppings aren't going to fall off.
Exactly. And these were all tavern style, so it was cut in the squares instead of the slices.
Right. Yep.
So you didn't have to worry about picking up like a huge piece and having everything slide off the end. But yeah, their Tommy's, the crust, fabulous. And then the last one was from Eagle Pizza. He got pepperoni, bacon, and roasted tomatoes.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Which Tommy's, at least with their bacon and I guess pepperoni, instead of just doing like, like your rounds of pepperoni and like you're kind of like taking, if you took like strips of bacon, just kind of chopped them haphazardly, not caring whether it's uniform. That tends to be how when you get bacon on pizza, that tends to be how it is. This, they did the tiny little squares. Like, have you ever had like the pizza at school or some frozen brands where you get your meat and it's like in tiny little cubes?
Yep.
They did it that way, so they got a nice, even, heavy coating of just meat. And occasionally you would bite into like just a little soft spot of juicy tomato, which was good. Gives a little sweetness, gives a little something there. So Tommy's Eagle is also a thin crust, but it's not that cracker type crust. So it was like, I liked all three, but I was like, if I could have the toppings from Eagle on Tommy's crust with the pineapple from Planks, that would be like the perfect pizza for me.
Hey guys, I got an idea. Let's do a collab.
Yes. Right? But otherwise, all three of them were actually really good. And we ended up eating cold pizza for like the rest of like the following day.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean,
not at all.
I generally don't like pizza cold.
Same.
Yeah.
Because I like it hot because I like my cheese to be melty.
True.
And that sort of thing. However, especially for the Eagle pizza, because there was such a good layer of the toppings, you weren't biting into like cold pizza where the sauce had soaked into the crust and now the crust was all soggy. And you're just getting a mouthful of like cold sauce and like bread. Instead, you were still getting like a good amount of flavor from like the bacon and everything. So it actually was not terrible. But yeah, he brought all three pizzas back with him, and that's we just chilled in the hotel room eating various slices from the different places. And, like, I brought some beers with me from home, and I think he grabbed one while he was out. So, well, a fun little evening. But yeah, that's how Chauncey spent his late Saturday afternoon, evening in Columbus, Ohio. Is doing a pizza crawl. And we still have so much pizza left over. He's actually ended up putting a lot of it in the freezer so it'll keep. I'm going to be eating pizza for lunch at work at least once this week. That's fine. so then that was Saturday, and then Sunday, I got up early-ish, to go down to Will Call to get Chauncey's admission for the day. Because he had only gotten for Sunday. So I was like, I'll get up because I wasn't sure how long the line was going to be. Because Saturday had been nuts. Like I said, inside, loud as hell. Cell phone, barely any cell phone signal. My Bluetooth for my headphones was acting up. When I left to go get brunch, and I came back, I left the restaurant. I couldn't go back in the same doors that I had exited. Those were exit only. So I had to walk up the street and but thankfully, staying in the hotel block, especially at the Hilton, I was just able to go up the street to the hotel and then go up to the hallway. Go up to that walkway and take it across and go get into the convention center that way, because the main doors out at street level, the line was outside wrapped around the building.
Oh boy.
And it was like 25 degrees outside. It's because everybody had to go through the metal detectors.
Oh, sure.
Before they did anything else. Just to get into the convention center, you had to go through a metal detector. So even with all of those doors and them, having people running the metal detectors, you still get people that don't realize they got to take things like their phone or their keys out of their pockets. And then the thing goes off and they're like, and then they got to use the wand and be like, sir, do you have anything in your pockets? And then they're like, what? And go through security anywhere. Airport, sporting event at a stadium, take your pick. Just people do not know how to do these things in an efficient manner. It doesn't help that it's not consistent across the board either. That's also part of it. And also part of it, at least, I don't know if this is the case for the metal detectors at the main entrance, but the metal detectors that I kept going through, they were also doing weapons checks as far as like props and doing the Ziploc thing, the zip tie thing for people's props that pass muster. So that may have also helped slow it down too, because those people were also trying to do weapons check at the same prop check at the same time. So, but yeah, I was like, oh, I'm so glad that I have another way to get in the convention center, because if I had to stand in that would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like Zan, she's like, I had to park so far away because just like the parking was packed. And of course, she's like trying to find a door that she can go into, because technically she has a guest / exhibitor badge. So she shouldn't have to stand in the same line as everybody else.
She shouldn't. No.
So thankfully she found a door that she could get into. But yeah. So I wasn't sure what the line was going to be like Sunday morning. And thankfully there was hardly any line, actually, and I confused the hell out of the guy at the check-in at the will call table, actually, because he's like, you have deluxe, what can I help you with? I'm like, I'm here to pick up a single day. He's like, what? I'm like, a single day, like obviously not for me, but I have somebody that they're only going today. I have a single day I need to pick up. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, you already have your admission. I'm like, yeah, it's not for me. Like,
I'm picking this up for my significant other.
Yeah, it's like, what? Do I look like a lonely person to you, or what? What we got going on here? So I get Chauncey's wristband, not even a badge, wristband. And I went and got caffeinated beverage. It just kind of sat and waited until the doors opened because it was slightly before 10 when the doors for the vendor hall were going to open. So I was like, oh, yeah. I was instead of going all the way back up, it's like I'll come down. Yeah, I'll pop a squat, and because I had one more autograph I needed to get, and so eventually they opened the doors. People start streaming in, go in, and once again, Fast Pass comes in handy, because only appearing on Sunday was Giancarlo Esposito.
Ooh.
So, of course, well, Star Wars fans are gonna be like, yeah, woo. Also, he's in Breaking Bad as well. And then those of us Marvel fans, he was Sidewinder in Captain America: New World Order, for like 5 seconds. And so yeah, got up, the fast pass line, got up, paid for the autograph. It was my turn. I told him, I was like, I was like, sign, because I have that Marvel piece that I've been collecting autographs on, which Clark Gregg needs to hurry it up because I need to retire this thing.
Please and thank you.
One, it's cumbersome to carry around because it's not very tall, but it's very wide, so it doesn't fit into a lot of things. So I either could carry it, but then that leaves it exposed where it could get damaged or something. And again, there's a lot of money and time invested into that with all those autographs.
Right.
But I keep eventually I'm going to run out of space because because I tell people, like, you can sign wherever you like, except for here, because I'm keeping that reserved for Clark Gregg. But eventually it's going to get to the point where that's the only space I have left.
Right.
And I need to stop taking this thing
until you
out
know
in
you can get to
public.
Clark Gregg.
Yeah. Until, it's like, I'm just going to have to retire it and find something else. And that spot's going to have to remain empty until I can get Clark to sign it. Like, the minute Clark signs it, I can retire it completely and move on to something else. But until then, it's like, once again, there's a lot of money that I don't want to think about has been spent collecting these autographs. And the time. Like, I can tell you about every experience I've had getting said autographs.
Oh, yeah.
I remember them all quite well, but still, it's like, after a while, it's like, this needs to stay at home where it's safe and can't be damaged. And
where
that sort of thing.
Spilled on, etc.
Or stolen.
And that too.
Yeah. Take that and put that on eBay and see what you can get for it. Don't do that. I'm not doing that.
No.
Somebody stole it, they might. So yeah, but for now, there's still room in other spots. Even with the 5 million square feet that Michael Rooker decided to take up when he signed it. Go listen to my PopCon. The year Rooker was there to hear about that. So, but he signed it. He hit it. So I now have slightly off to the side of where Clark Gregg's signature will go eventually. I now have Giancarlo Esposito, aka Sidewinder. He's right next to Man Thing from Werewolf by Night. So, but yeah, I was like, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. He's like, thank you for saying thank you. You're welcome. So, he was very, very kind, very nice gentleman. So then I was able to go back to the room, give Chauncey his badge, his wristband, put piece, autograph piece down. It's locked in the hotel room. Told Chauncey, he was up. I was like, I want to go back down to the vendor hall. This is our first photo op. Is it this time? I gave him my fast pass badge because I was like, I don't have anything else to use it for, but he wanted to get some autographs. I'm like, here's this just in case. I was like, otherwise I'll see you at the photo op. And so that's what I kind of did is I went and wandered the vendor floor. Somewhere I did make a purchase. I bought I'll have to hunt down the names of the places that I bought stuff from and see if they have like websites or social media presence or something and try to put the links in the show notes. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the name of the booth. But she had like plaid and flannel shirts that she'd upcycled. And so like she got them, from the thrift store and stuff. And they'd all been washed and all that fun stuff, so that they weren't going to shrink or anything. But based on the colorway of the shirt, she would put a design on the back. Usually on, I'm not sure exactly how she exactly does this. I don't know if she screen prints onto these pieces of fabric and then sews it on. That would be my best guess, because I don't think these are necessarily like designs that you could just go buy necessarily, like already on a piece of fabric. It's kind of hard to explain. I'll post a picture of it. But anyway, the one I bought is the flannel is a kind of a yellow grayish mix, and the piece on the back, the design on the back is power line in this very stylized, like cool looking stained glass design. So I was like, yeah, power line, Goofy. It's like Goofy movie. Because that slaps. Does eye to eye need to slap that hard? No. Am I glad it does? Absolutely. So I bought that from her. We ended up trading Pokemon Go trainer codes as well. She was in the middle of a raid. So I was like, hey, we'll trade. So then I went and met Chauncey at the or by the photo op area where we did our photo with the trio from Hocus Pocus. So it was Vanessa Shaw, Thora Birch, and Omri Katz. So Max, Danny, and Jessica from Hocus Pocus. It was it was so wild because I really hadn't seen them just because of all the crowds, like that they've been at their tables. I hadn't seen them. But I could see them through like the curtains as we were waiting our turn. And I was like, Vanessa's not aged at all. And she hasn't really. I mean, she almost looks exactly, other than she's probably taller and maybe a few pounds heavier because she's not, teenager anymore. But she really looks like she just walked off the set of Hocus Pocus. So Thora Birch, not so much, but she was also quite a bit younger when she did Hocus Pocus. So, puberty. Although the face, she still has that kind of youngish face that she's always kind of had. Omri, I would not have known that was Max Dennison if he came up and slapped me in the face. He does not look, he sounds the same. Once you hear him speak, you're like, oh my God, that's Max from Hocus Pocus. But he does not look anything like he did in the movie at all. So, but But it was really cool. It's like, we got, we waited and it got to our turn and we went up and, I think Omri gave me a hug and he shook Chauncey's hand and Chauncey's like, hey man, it's like hocus pocus. I grew up with you guys. And Omri's like, yeah, I hear that a lot. So, um, so we get, and Aubrey shook Chauncey's hand, but I could also see in Aubrey's face that it was like, oh my god, this guy is so much taller than the rest of us. How are we gonna fit him into the photo? I could just see, it's like, Chauncey and I, we've been together a long time, well, married 16 years today, actually. Today's our 16th wedding anniversary. We've been together longer than that. So I am very used to being able to read people's faces when they see and take in like his height and everything in his build. So I could just see the wheels start turning in Aubrey's face, like, how's this gonna work? How are we gonna do the lineup here so that everybody, we can all get in the picture together. So we end up getting situated. So it's, I think Thora's on the outside. There's Vanessa, me, Chauncey, then Omri. And so we all get huddled up. Omri ends up putting his hand on Chauncey's shoulder. I think Vanessa's got her arm around me. And the camera person's like, okay, ready? And I'm like, and to steal a little bit from the movie, because I think the camera person may have said say cheese or like smile or something, like you do. And I was like, everybody say Yabbos!
Yabbos!
Which I think Vanessa was the only person to hear me and register what I had said, because I could hear her giggling next to me. And I think Thora said something like, what did she say? I think Thora was like questioning what I'd said. I think maybe Vanessa told her. I don't think Omri heard or it registered, but Vanessa definitely, I had her giggling.
It's like, yes, you heard what you thought you heard come out of her mouth.
It's a classic line from the movie.
Yes, it is.
Danny telling Jessica how much her brother likes her Yabbos, So I got that going for me. I thought it was funny. Oh. Those that heard it also thought it was funny, but so yeah, let me get a picture. And then we had to go back up to the room so we could change clothes. Because I was just in Sanderson Sisters shirt. It was a shirt that I had gotten secondhand. It says Sanderson Sisters like brewing company or something. It's got a picture of a cauldron on it. It's kind of that browny orangish color. Yeah. So, and tennis shoes. So we had to go back up to the hotel room to change, because we also had another photo op a couple hours after that. Again, Weird Al, like we did. We don't need Weird Al's autograph again by any means, but if we could take a fun picture with Weird Al, we're going to.
Exactly. Why? If you got the opportunity, don't miss out on it.
Yeah, especially when Chauncey's such a good sport about everything. So of course last year we did the box of Dozen Starving Crazed Weasels, straight out of the song Albuquerque, which Al thought was hilarious. Made a good impression. So this year, I decided that we were going to dress up, and he was going to be Philo, and I was going to be Pamela Finkelstein from UHF. So, which thankfully Chauncey already owns a lab coat. It's actually his lab coat left over from college. So real life used in the lab. And he's got like crazy white hair, mad scientist type wig that he has worn for things. So I was like, okay, so you can be Philo. I'm gonna get, a dark long-haired wig, which I did. Thank you, Spirit Halloween, for being 50% off after Halloween. And I got a jacket, a blazer with a obnoxious print on it. And I wore a crop top. I did it. I was that dedicated to showing some of the midriff. I didn't wear a skirt because it's hot, or it's cold, and that meant I would have to wear tights, which I hate wearing tights because those are hot.
Uh-huh.
So
And tights can be hard to find in certain situations.
that too. Well, I have tights. I have plenty of tights. Most of my tights actually are fleece lined, which
Ooh, nice.
may have been a bit too warm. So I was like, I was like, I'll wear black pants, but I was like, I'll do the midriff thing. And I got a toy microphone online, and Chauncey's got a vinyl cutter, so he was able to create a sticker to go on the microphone that, like what Pamela uses, where it says channel 62 on it. And then Chauncey's prop was easy. It's just a piece of paper with the words "Secrets of the Universe" written on it. If you've seen UHF, you know. And if you've seen the deleted scenes, you really know, So, so we get changed and go back down. We got a little bit of time. So we use that opportunity for Chauncey to get his autographs from the Hocus Pocus trio. And our listeners will have to let us know, me specifically, and I can tell Chauncey, because right now this seems to be a regional thing, that whether people know what this thing is or not. So, but these were a popular Halloween decoration about the time that Hocus Pocus came out. So early to mid 90s. I don't know if they have a proper name. I mean, what it says on the box, because of course he managed to buy one with the box. It just says Sonic Control Novel Electronic Gifts is what it says on the box. But it looks like a ghost. It's like a piece of fabric, and it has like a spooky ghost face on it, printed on it, and it's draped over this hard plastic kind of like dome. So it's round on top, and it's got a flat bottom. So you could set it down on the table, it would be flat and it would stay upright, although it also has a string on it so you can hang it. But it runs on batteries. And of course ours is still functional once you push fresh batteries in it. But it's got a little switch, and when you turn it on, inside the plastic bit there's like a little motor, and it causes it to vibrate, but then it also makes noise. And it's this really annoying, like, woo. It's the most obnoxious sound. But they were, Chauncey says they were a really popular Halloween decoration. But only people so far that live like in this part of the country seem to know what they are.
Yeah,
and if you're of a certain age.
Relatives, and I think one of my relatives had it, and us kids were just like, okay,
yeah,
enough of that.
Like, obviously, our listeners cannot see it, but I can turn it on so you can hear it, because they may not recognize what it looks like, but they may recognize the sound.
I vaguely remember, I think.
Yeah. Not something that you want running for very long, because otherwise you're going to be like, I'm going to shoot that thing. But the fabric, it's just attached with double-sided tape, so it's real easy to take it off. And this thing is like a good size. It's like the size of like a softball. So it's got a good size to it. And he's like, I'm going to have the Hocus Pocus trio sign this. Because he wanted something vintage from about the time period that the movie came out. because that was the Hocus Pocus kind of was part of his childhood, helped develop his childhood love of all things Halloween. So he got Thora first. She signed it, and then Omri signed it, and we had a nice chat. Well, because he asked each of them when he'd go up to them, he's like, "Do you know what this is?" And they'd be like, "No." So then he'd have to explain what it is, turn it on, so they could hear it and stuff. And Omri was like, "Oh," he's like, "Nope, sorry." But he was, he was very nice about it. Chauncey was like, "Yeah, the early 90s and Halloween, it was a big deal for me." And Omri's like, "You know what? I hear that a lot. People are like, you raised me." It's like between that and he was in the series Erie, Indiana,
Yep.
which I've not actually properly sat down and watched. I really should, considering I live in Indiana. It's one of those things that I should probably get around to one of these days. It's on the list. I'll get to it eventually. What's really first I gotta backtrack a little. What's really funny is Chauncey got Thora, and I was just hanging back because Thora had a little bit of a line. Because obviously I think of the three, her career has probably been the most productive since then. And in the meantime, Omri went to the bathroom, and then he came back. And so he came back, and he's like, "Sorry about that." I was like, he's like, "I'm back." I'm like, "Yeah, you got your shoes." He's like, "Of course I do. That was a movie." He's making fun of me. It's like, I know. He was sweet though. So he signed it. And then we did Vanessa, and once again, Chauncey asked you, "Do you know what this is?" She's like, "No." She's like, "I don't know if that maybe it's because she's like, I don't know if it's a California thing, so I always did Halloween in California, and where I live, people didn't decorate." Maybe so. Um, uh, but yeah, but she signed it, and was very sweet, talking about her a little bit about Halloween as a kid, how it was different for her in California versus us in the Midwest. So but that was it's got all three, and there's just enough room for one more signature, and I think Doug Jones needs to go on there.
Yep.
Ooh.
So, I think Billy Butcher needs to be the fourth one on there.
Yep.
So, because we're sure as hell not going to get the Sanderson sisters anytime soon. So,
And that might be a little out of price range.
yeah. Well, it's not so much the price range; it's just getting them.
That too, yeah.
That's the thing; is just access to the people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm very fortunate. Chelsea and I are very fortunate that we've, gotten to a point in our lives where we can, easily afford to go do things like this and be able to pay, the prices for the photos and the autographs and stuff, because that's what we've chosen to use our expendable income for. Because these stories, that's one of the things you're going to remember,
Right.
years down the line. I mean, we still talk about some of these celebrity encounters from years ago. So it's not so much the cost; it's more so much the ability to get the opportunity. And so, some of these stars are just, even though they're part of some very iconic things like Hocus Pocus, some of these stars are just, they're too big. It's like you might get them once in a while at a convention, like like you've seen like Chris Evans do like a convention.
Right.
Jeremy Renner's done like a convention. So it's not going to be easy to get somebody like a Broadway legend Bette Midler
Mm-hmm.
Or
Right.
even Sarah Jessica Parker.
Jessica Parker,
she's a big star. Kathy, I think, would be the most likely of the three.
Yeah, I think, out of the three, I
I
think
think
she probably would.
her star is not quite as big as the other two. That I think they could get Kathy. And Doug does do conventions. His problem is what he does is so niche as far as an actor is concerned, that when they need somebody, when there's a role that would be that is includes the skill set that he has, he's going to be the first person they call.
Right, exactly.
So he's very popular because what he does is very niche as far as his acting is concerned. So finding free time for him to do a convention is more the issue. You know, it's I mean, he also is he's a decent star in his own right, but a lot of people, I don't think, outside of, I mean, I think the things that he's done where you can actually like see his proper face, I could probably count on one hand. Otherwise, he's usually under a lot of heavy prosthetics and or motion capture.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even Billy Butcher, that's a lot of heavy makeup. You can't necessarily equate Billy Butcher with Doug Jones, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, but Doug, I think it's only a matter of time probably before GalaxyCon gets Doug. I think it's just going to come down to timing more than anything. So, but until then, we'll keep that space open for him and or Kathy, whoever comes first, I guess. But honestly, I think Doug will probably be the more likely of the two. So, but it's kind of a cool thing because Chauncey, in his workspace where his computer is in our office, he's got like his Star Wars action figures and his Super Soakers, and he's got all sorts of different vintage Halloween stuff, and that has been sitting. It sits on the box on display, and has for a while since he bought it off eBay or wherever he got it from. But it's just kind of cool. It sits there, and if we're showing, have somebody new come over and be like, oh yeah, this is this, and he can be like, and this, and he can be like, hey, do you know what this is as far as decorations? And yes or no, and he'd be like, hey, you ever seen Hocus Pocus? And like lift up the fabric and be like, look,
Mm-hmm.
it's Max, Danny, and Jessica. So that was cool. So then we had to go and do our photo with Weird Al together. So once again, waiting till it's our turn, chatting. He was telling me about computer issues his brother's having that he was trying to help him with. And it got to be our turn, and we go up there, and I have my microphone, and I'm like, George, we're ready for work. And he just laughed. He's like, I love it. And Chauncey's got his little paper, just like Philo, Secrets of the Universe, and we got the photo, and that was that. So then we went and found Zan over at Chris's table, so Chauncey and Zan could finally meet in person. So it's like they know each other exists, but they've never actually met face to face. Now Chauncey met Chris last year, but Zan was sick and therefore did not make it. So Chauncey met Zan's husband before he ever met Zan. But now they have properly met. It was funny as Zan was like, hey, where's my food? Because the only time she sees Chauncey is because we tend to do gold standard with our cameras on.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's in the evening, it's usually dinner time. So Chauncey usually brings me my dinner while we're recording. So Zan is just used to seeing Chauncey appear in frame to bring me food and then walk out again. So she's like, where's my food? Yeah. Where's my dinner?
Aren't you forgetting something?
Yeah. but yeah, so they finally got to be. We talked about the stuff he does. He told her about his pizza adventures from the day before, and all sorts of just getting to know you type stuff. And then he's like, can I go back and take this wig and stuff off now? I'm like, yes, go ahead, honey. So you go right on ahead. So he went back to the room. I don't know what he did after that. So I think he may have came back and wandered the floor a little bit just to make sure there wasn't anything that he wanted to buy, or whatever. I have no idea. I stood there and chatted with Zan. Then I went and did my own shopping. I ended up buying this D20 that is like, size wise, I would say it is probably about the size probably of like a regulation baseball.
Okay, so big chonker.
I mean, not as big as a softball, because softballs are bigger.
Right.
So I would say this is more like a baseball, maybe a tennis ball.
Mm-hmm.
So not terribly huge, but still, I mean for D20, it's obviously it's chunky. Nice thing is it's made out of silicone.
Ooh.
So because that one shot that Chauncey and I did with our friends, which that should be available to the public here soon. So he had sent us a it's partially edited version, but I don't want to listen to it until it's completely edited and out there. So I'm still waiting, and it's not out there yet. I will share it obviously the minute that it's available. I think they're putting it out to their Patreon first, and then they're gonna make it public. So they're gonna let their patrons have first crack at it. And then make it public, because he liked it so much. He's like, I don't think we necessarily want to keep this behind a paywall for everybody, So, but obviously when we played D&D during the pandemic, we were all online, so none of us were using actual dice. The Roll20 was doing all the math for us,
Right.
and everything. But for Matt and Colin's show with these one shots, you just need a D20. So, and of course, I have a ton of dice. I ended up with another D6 thanks to the swag bag I got from GalaxyCon by having a deluxe pass. Like I need another D6 for anything, but like 5 million of those. D20s come in handy. But as we were playing, I'm sure some of the all the times I roll my D20 and it would fall on the ground, I go chasing after it. I'm assuming Matt will edit most of that out. But it was rather annoying to try and roll a D20 and have it go flying off the edge of my table, and I have to go chasing after it because it's a standard size D20, so it's small.
Right.
And they're easy to lose. So then when I saw these on Friday, I was like, well, I'll wait until Sunday. My thing is, obviously with these conventions, you do have somewhat of a deadline, but my general to try to keep me from impulse buying, because that happens more often than I care to admit, and these conventions are some of the worst as far as my habits are concerned. So if I see something like on the first day, I'll make a note of it, and I'm like, by the time it reaches Sunday, if I'm still thinking about it, then I should, that's a sign that I should probably go back and look at it again.
Mm-hmm.
Go and find it again. If they still have it,
then get it.
then get it. So this was one of those where it was like, I was like, okay, make a mental note. big ass silicone D20. And so I went back Sunday, and at first I didn't see the color that I wanted. And I was going to go with a different color pattern. And then I saw that there were still a couple in the color that first caught my eye. It's just like, okay, 90s kids. Do you remember? You saw this pattern a lot of places and this color combination a lot of places, but the two that stand out were at Taco Bell and the shirt that Rocco wears on Rocco's Modern Life.
Yep.
Where it's like that blue and purple.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the colorway on this D20.
Oh, cool.
So it's very 90s. It's very 90s color. So I was like, oh yay, okay, that's my sign. I need this D20. So now I have this giant D20. So the next time we do one of those one shots that requires a D20, I can roll it, and even if it does fall off the edge of my table, I can see it.
Right.
It's a lot harder to loose. It's big and it's bright colored. So that was one of my purchases. And then my other purchase that I waited from Friday to Sunday to get was I also bought a bunch of stickers, but how do I describe stickers to you? I'll take a picture of them and post them. That'd be a lot easier. And again, if I can find links for the vendors, I will do so. I do not remember who I bought the D20 from because I paid cash, so I don't have a receipt. So, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure that there's actually no. I do know the vendor because the bag that they put it in, even though I did not need a bag, they gave me a bag anyway. It's got their name on it, so I take that back. I can look them up and see if they've got social media somewhere. But anyway, the other thing that I saw on Friday and waited till Sunday was this vendor that had shirts and sweatshirts and hats and stuff, all with this embroidery on it.
Ooh.
And it was all geeky embroidery. And they had, of course, Wicked. There was some Wicked stuff. There's some Taylor Swift. There's some Twilight, because there were some actors from Twilight. And they somewhat focused either whatever's hot at the time and or what IPs were being represented at the convention. This I bought this sweatshirt. It's just a black crewneck sweatshirt. It's a good thick material though, so it's come in handy because it's really cold. But at first glance, it looks like a red ribbon, and it looks like a little bundle of holly, like what you'd see at Christmas time. It's got the red bow, your red ribbon tied into a bow. You get the green stems and then the red balls at the end, like you sometimes see. With that or mistletoe. You see Christmas decorations. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Looks like little red berries, just a little bundle, usually tied together with some sort of Christmassy ribbon. So that's what it looks like if you just look at it real quick without taking in the details. But then if you look at it and more than just a passing glance, you realize that those aren't berries. Those are Demogorgon mouths.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
There's little bats. And they're flying, upside down creatures flying in the little back. So there's another little Demogorgon mouth on one of the sleeves towards the cuff. So I told the lady, I'm like, this is going to be my holiday sweater. Because it's from a distance, if you just look at it, you'd be like, oh, it's like holly or mistletoe or something. And then you get a good look at it and you're like, wait, what does that holly have? Teeth!
It's dangerous.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's that was my other.
Look at Dart from season 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, I check it out. The gal and I were talking about Stranger Things. She's like, Because I said, like, yeah, this will make a good holidays for you. She's like, yeah. And we get new episodes on Christmas Day. I'm like, I know. I ended up wearing it to dinner that night. I said so. I told Chauncey, I was like, yeah, it's my new holiday sweater. He's like, that's fine. But you do know on Christmas Day, you have to wear your tacky dog tree sweater with the bells on it, right? I'm like, yes, I know.
This is for after.
Yeah, this is for after we're done with the presents and everything. Then I can change and then go binge the new episodes of Stranger Things.
Me in peace.
Everybody else is in coma or playing with their new toys or whatever it is they got for Christmas. I will switch into my festive Demogorgon sweatshirt. Oh, it's so funny. I love it. So, but yeah, that was my last purchase. Like I said, I bought some stickers. I did get some fudge from the fudge people that were there, like I do, because I have a sweet tooth, like nobody's business. But thankfully, fudge, while it is nothing but pure sugar, it's also gluten-free.
What flavor did you go for?
I got a slice of their Snickers.
Ooh.
Which is essentially like chocolate with actual peanuts and caramel on top. And then I also got their raspberry chocolate something that's vegan. So, which I don't care if it's vegan or not. It's fudge, you know. She's like, yeah, we use like avocado oil. I'm like, that's fine. I don't care.
Just hand over fudge. Hand over the chocolate.
I was like, it still says chocolate. It's fine. So, yeah. It's fine. It's like, that just means it has slightly less fat in it. That's all. Considering fudge is essentially just sugar and butter. It's some other very unhealthy stuff all pushed together with some flavoring. Oh my. So, but that was kind of my last purchase. So and then I went back to the hotel room and found Chauncey there. And I actually had booked the hotel room through today. And when I first told Chauncey that, he was like, why? And I'm like, well, this convention, one, it technically goes later into Sunday than a lot of others do. Like, they were doing stuff until like 6, 7 o'clock last night. So, I mean, the vendor hall didn't close till 6, which on a Sunday, that's kind of late.
Yeah,
comparatively to most conventions that I go to.
Usually up to 4.
Yeah, I was like, and I took today off work. I was like, even if I still took Monday off and went home last night, it still would have been like, it meant getting up early and having to check out of the hotel, take all the stuff to the car, which is cutting into convention time.
Right.
And then being at the convention all day, and then trying to do the drive home that evening. After wearing myself out, being on my feet all day, and all of that, I was like, I'd much rather not have to do the. Yeah, I even got a text message from the hotel during the day late on the day Saturday, saying, Sunday's the last day of the convention. Traffic's probably going to be heavier than normal getting out of the parking garage. So plan accordingly. I'm like, I don't avoid that. So by the time we get to Sunday morning, Chauncey's like, yeah, that was a really smart idea, actually, to book the hotel through Monday. So, but he ended up going home last night. So, because he technically did not have today off work. Even though it meant he could sleep in, but he would be home when it was time for him to have to hop online for work related stuff. So and he could work in his pajamas if you really wanted to. So joys of working from home. But I was like, he's like, but we can go out to dinner before I leave because it's like our anniversary, technically. Our anniversary's today, but he's like, it's our, it's essentially our anniversary, and so he hops on Yelp and looks real quick, and we find this, he finds this steak place, and I will totally call them out because they have already gotten my review on OpenTable, so that they know. But it's called the Barn at Rocky Fork Creek. It's a steak place. I mean, it's horse, like equestrian themed, but it's not like over the top. So, but they definitely were consistent with the theming as far as like it's supposed to be like a horse barn. So it looks like it just this really big barn from the outside, obviously, bit more swanky, and you go inside, there's horse related, equestrian related paraphernalia all over the place. It's all dark wood and stuff on the inside. Nice place, not a place that you necessarily need to get like super dressed up to go to. But good for like, if you want to have like a nice birthday or anniversary meal or something like that. I like steak as much as the next person. I'm a real steak and potatoes kind of gal, so it's like I could throw down a steak. Yeah. So we went ahead and made a reservation via OpenTable, very convenient. For 6:30, and we get there, we get parked, we walk in. It's like 6:32 or something like that. So not technically we're late, but I don't think anything that anybody would be like, oh my god, you're so late. Like even like doctor's offices, they give you like 10-15 minutes leeway before they're like, okay, we're gonna have to cancel your reservation or appointment because you're that late. So it's like 2-3 minutes late, not a big deal. We walk in, like, we have a reservation for 6:30. They're like, great, we see, we've got y'all checked in, it's just gonna be a minute. A couple of minutes, like, no problem, because they got to make sure that the table has actually been cleared out and cleaned off and all those things. Totally understandable. So we pop a squat. They got like big leather couches and chairs that you could sit at, and it's decorated for Christmas at the moment, so of course they got a big tree goes all the way to the ceiling. So we sit down. We wait probably 5 minutes at most before they come and get us, which perfectly fine. That's acceptable. So they walk us back to our table. They got a little table for two that just seats two, and the hostess or whatever, she's like, here you go, here's your menus, here's the drink menu, enjoy your meal, that sort of thing. She goes back to the front to do her job. Then a guy comes by that's like, I don't know what the proper terminology is, where it's like it's the person in a place like this, they have somebody that's like filling your water for you, but they're not your waiter. But they're not like, I don't think they're like the bus boy either, the person that like cleans the tables. So I don't know what the proper terminology for that type of position is. But anyway, nice gentleman. He comes, fills our water, our glasses with ice water, and he's like, your server will be right with you. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Then we got water. We need time to look at the menu anyway. It's a good sized menu. We're trying to decide, do we want to get an appetizer or not? Do we want salad? That sort of thing. Occasionally somebody would walk by with like a dessert. We had some birthdays and the tables around us, so we got to see what some of the desserts look like. They had supposed to have bread service, like bread and butter type thing, and we'd see that go by. We're figuring, and then we're also looking at the drinks menus. Like, do I want a cocktail? Do I want a glass of wine? They don't really have beer. It's mostly wine and cocktails. It's trying to figure out what we want to drink and that sort of thing. And we're chit-chatting as we're looking at the menus. We're talking about like the house hunts that we're on and that sort of thing. And drinking our water, and eventually, the same guy comes by and tops off our water. Make sure we stay hydrated, I guess. It's just, we're enjoying the atmosphere. We're kind of looking around at stuff. And then at some point, I look at Chauncey and I'm like, I think they forgot about us. He's like, yeah, I kind of feel that too. So I look at my phone. It is 7:20.
Oh, wow.
So, like, even with us coming a little late and then waiting to get seated, we've probably been at our table for probably close to 45 minutes. And all we've gotten is water.
Oops.
Nobody else has stopped by to, like, would you like to order a drink? Maybe an appetizer? Do you have any questions about the menu?
You still need a few more minutes to decide type
right
deal. Yeah.
That sort of thing. Like, nobody has stopped by except the person who's given us water. So I look at Chauncey and I'm like, well, we haven't ordered anything, so there's no bill. So he's like, do you just want to leave? And I was like, we can go someplace else. I was like, it's still early enough.
Right.
He's like, so he pulls out Yelp again. He's like, well, here's this. It's only like, it's like a mile and a half away. I'm like, great. We'll go there. I forget what it was called. Something diner. Oh crap. I don't remember. Hold on a second here. So I want to make sure that everybody gets called out, whether it's good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was, oh crap. Cap City Fine Diner and Bar. Different vibe. Just by the name, you could tell it's a different vibe. And we're like, okay, well, let's go there. So we grab our coats and we up and leave. He even stops to go to the bathroom. I go get the car to pull around to the front. Nobody acknowledges us.
Wow.
At all. Whatsoever. So by the time I go get the car and get it pulled around, he's done the bathroom. He hops in the car. We go to this new place. So we get to Cap City and we go in, and we're greeted by the hostess, and they're all like, how many? And we're like, 2. It's like, did anybody need a gluten-free menu? I'm like, nope. So then they show us her it's like, it looks like an old-fashioned like 50s diner.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. But bigger. So very, very nice, cool theming. And they were playing like classic rock and music like that. Thankfully they were not playing Christmas music, so they had that going for them too. And we get seated and she's like, waitress will be right with you. Like, we're looking at the menus. It's maybe been 3 minutes before the waitress shows up, and she's like, like, can I, like, here's some water for you. Did you want to order drinks or any sort of anything? it was like, well, we need a chance to look at the menu. She's like, okay, I'll be right back. Like, well, first of all, we've seen a waitress. That's a start. And has also asked us some questions, so there's a start too. So then she comes back, and we go ahead and order our drinks and our and an appetizer. And so she brings us our drinks. And she brings us our appetizer. She's like, here, she takes our order, and so we order our food, and then it doesn't take very long for our food to come out. And she's like, here you go. She's like, do you need anything else? I'm like, no, you've already been heads and tails above the last place that we went to. Like, we were there for almost an hour, and nobody other than water even asked us. It's like, so, like, the fact that we have drinks and appetizer and our food, and we've been here, like, I don't know, 15 minutes, y'all are already winning in our book.
Heads and tails above.
Yeah, she's like, she's like, can I ask, where'd you go? We told her, and she's like, okay, well, that's interesting. She's like, well, she's like, I hope that you feel like you're getting better service here. I'm like, we've got food. That's a win.
Yeah, nobody came to ask us our food order at the other place.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, and it was diner food, but like elevated.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chauncey got the meatloaf, but it was like fancy meatloaf. It came on like with like a big old thing of like fried onion straws and fancy like mashed potatoes and other stuff. I had triple decker grilled cheese.
Oh, that sounds good.
What they need to call this is the triple decker breakfast, essentially grilled cheese, because it's not just triple grilled cheese. It also comes with bacon, fried egg, and tomato.
Ooh, yum.
This was essentially breakfast in a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah, yum.
And shoestring fries. And our appetizer was like, I guess the thing that they're known for. They're like kettle chips.
Oh,
but they come with,
chips are the best.
Yeah, it's a plate of kettle chips covered in blue cheese and Alfredo sauce.
Ooh, that's a combination. That sounds
not
really good,
healthy. Like, nothing we had was healthy by any means. But oh my god, it was so good. And then she ended up gave us dessert on the house. Even though they're not the ones that, tried to ruin our anniversary, but she was all like, she's like, go ahead and order, guys, you can order dessert. It's on the house. I'm like, okay. So we ended up getting their peanut butter pie, which oh my god, it was like a Girl Scout tag along.
Oh, yum!
In pie form on crack.
Okay, I most
had
definitely
that layer
if I'm in that area.
Top, and full of the peanut butter filling, and then the cookie crust on the bottom. Oh, and the actual peanuts and whipped cream on top. Oh my god, it was so good.
Oh, yum!
So good.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yes. Yeah, it was so good. Yeah, it was like, I was like, this is more our speed anyway, as far as food is concerned, honestly, compared to the other place. So I think it was actually kind of a blessing in disguise that we had such an unfortunate experience. And it's even as we left the steak place and we're headed to the diner, I said something to Chauncey. I'm like, well, they're not going to a favorable review on Yelp. He's like, it's like, we didn't even it's like, I'm just going to forget. It was like, what are they going to do? Offer to make it up to us, and have us come back? We're not local. Like, well, that's fair. Like, what, you're gonna make it up to us a year from now when we come back for GalaxyCon next year? So, but yeah, it was a great meal, and we went back to the hotel, and Chauncey got in his car and he made the drive home, and I cleaned up after myself and went to bed. And like I said, I had to pack, at least try to start packing, so I skipped Die Hard on the TV. Pitch Perfect. Then I got up this morning and finished packing and hit the road and essentially did everything that I just did on the way out in reverse. So I went to Tim Hortons and then stopped at the candle place, and I had more time this time, so I stopped and picked up a few things, a few stocking stuffers for some various people that I will not mention just in case they happen to hear this. Chauncey. And then came home. And then he helped me unload my stuff from the car and sat down and doing this. So that has been my weekend. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So, but it was funny because I got an email from Open Table saying, "How was your visit to the barn?" So I was like, service 0, food 0, atmosphere not bad. But everything else was like the lowest thing I could give is 1 star.
Right.
But then they got the spot for the comments, and I put in, I put the TLDR, and 1,000 characters or less version of the story I just told. And I've already gotten a response from somebody at the restaurant saying that they're like, I saw that your table was empty, and I even, I asked the waiter, and we checked the bathroom just to make, thinking maybe like both of you were in the bathroom or something. Like, no, we left.
Yeah.
They're like, we hate that that's the service that you got, especially on your anniversary. He's like, please let us get in contact to see how we can make it up to you. And I'm like, I'm not local. I don't know how you can make it up to me. So unless you're part of like a restaurant, like
chain
conglomerate,
of some
like
sort,
you've got like a sister restaurant that is local to us, maybe. So I don't know. Because I know sometimes there's restaurants, like the restaurant itself could be a one-off, and it can be part of like a conglomerate. It's like, a series of restaurants that don't necessarily have the same name, like a franchise or a chain, but
umbrella type deal.
So I don't know. I'll message them back and see what they say, but yeah, I had a good meal, just not with them.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a really great meal. I actually honestly think that when I finally decided on what I thought I would order at the steak place, comparatively what I got at the diner, I think I'm happier with what I got at the diner, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And the meal was cheaper, which meant we could leave a bigger tip for the waitress that actually did serve us.
Yep.
There we go. So yeah, overall, not bad. Just a few hiccups. Some of them expected, some of them a little unexpected. Obviously, the whole dining thing is not GalaxyCon's fault or anybody's fault other than that restaurant's fault. But yeah, if you're looking for a good meal and want to get outside of downtown Columbus and are willing to drive like 15, 20 minutes out into the burbs, go. Don't go to the steak place. I like, if you really want a steak, find someplace else. Not be my first choice. But if you're not necessarily a steak person and you like you're more like homey foods, like your meatloafs and your grilled cheese sandwiches and your good burgers and shakes and stuff like that, and they do have cocktails and beers and stuff. They have margaritas on tap.
Ooh.
I'm sure it's one of those machines that just like is constantly churning it, but they're not frozen. It's not a frozen margarita. It's a liquid margarita, but still, I was like, you have me a margarita on tap, essentially. So bring me a margarita. Chauncey didn't have booze, actually. He had peach flavored Arnold Palmer. It was actually quite good. He thought it was a bit too sweet, which I didn't think so, but he doesn't have a sweet tooth like I do. He's more of a salty, savory type person. But yeah. So GalaxyCon Columbus 2025 in the books. We're now up to 4. Well, let's see. 4, 5. Okay, so last year, the show in July, this, and then the first time I met Weird Al and forgot how to speak. So, I mean, if you count Weird Al this weekend is just once, if you don't count the 2 different photos as their own thing, then this would have been my 4th encounter with Weird Al. So getting much better at it. It was funny this time. I was like, when I was going to get my photo up on Friday, and I was walking over there, and they had a very similar setup to last year, where they've got the table for autographs. You go and you either pay, or if you pay ahead of time, show them your receipt. And he does the curtain off thing like Carrie Elwes does, which Carrie Elwes was there too. So they had 2 different celebrities doing the curtained off thing. So it helps drown out the noise and just makes it a better, more intimate experience, your celebrity encounter. But it was funny, I saw that and I was like, I remember being here last year and getting a glimpse of him like through the curtain as somebody was walking through and going, like still like kind of losing my crap at Weird Al. And then this year I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. Like slightly less on edge now when it comes to the Weird Al encounters. I told Chauncey, I was like, at this point, the number of celebrities left that I could meet that would make me have that kind of reaction, I could probably count on one hand. So it's like, I had my freak out first time I met Colin Baker. I lost the ability to speak first time I met Weird Al. So, but with each subsequent experience, we get better and better. So, Clark Gregg, you are in trouble. Because this has been building for a very long time. So once this finally happens, who knows what's going to happen? I have no idea. So maybe next year. I doubt it, but we can always dream, right? Because GalaxyCon already on the calendar for next year, December 4th through 6th, 2026. So if anyone wants to think of going, there you go. Those are the dates you need to block out. And I highly recommend staying in one of the connecting hotels. It's not always 20 degrees in Ohio in early December, but it was this year. Which made me very glad I did not have to go outside very often. Especially on Saturday when the line to get in the main doors literally wrapped around the building on the outside. But we'll see what kind of guests they get for next year. I mean, this year was a pretty good group, kind of eclectic in some cases. Obviously, whatever's hot at the moment. Once again, the Has-Been Hotel voice actors, consistently busy. Same thing with the Ninja Turtles. And obviously Simon Pegg, him only being there one day made a difference. Same with Giancarlo Esposito, only being there one day. Ashley Eckstein was only there Sunday. And she had, I went to say bye to Zan, and it was about 5-ish, so there was still an hour left in the vendor hall. But at that point, a lot of the celebrities had up and left, and it was pretty much a ghost town, except for Ashley. Ashley was still at her table and she still had a line. And I even said to Chauncey, I was like, knowing her, she will stay until she has met everybody, even if it goes to after 6. Because that's the type of person she is. Oh. They could probably confirm that when we have her on the show one of these centuries. Because we will. It's not if, it's when. So if she hadn't been so busy, I would have been like, okay, Ashley, what do we need to do to lock this down? Like, do I need to talk to your mom? I know that's your mom. I've met your mom. Or your dad? Someone? I've been trying to get you on my podcast. And this podcast is almost 12 years old. And I've been trying to get you on since almost the beginning. This needs to happen. Oh, my. So we'll see who they get. And what kind of crowds they bring along with them. Cheech and Chong. Oh, so many long-haired hippies come out of the woodwork. They probably would never have been caught dead at a comic convention before this, but with Cheech and Chong there, lots of road hard, weary, long-haired hippies. Oh my. We shall wait and see. Well, if any of our listeners want to give their 2 cents, maybe you were at GalaxyCon and want to give your feedback, Aaron. I know Aaron's like, it's been forever since I sent you guys feedback. I'm like, it's okay. It's fine. He's like, I listen, I just don't get time to get set. Like, that's okay. But Aaron, I'm sure you're hearing this. If you want to send in feedback, you can. You know how to do that. But for everybody else who does it, email is fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. Or you can go to our website, which is thefivishfangirls.com, or you connect with all of our various social media accounts and our personal ones as well. I did a little photo dump on Instagram, which also pushed to our Facebook page. There are more photos where that came from. So, like I said, I'll take pictures of the merchandise that I mentioned. And like I said, I will try to put links or tag or whatever to as many vendors as I can find, so that y'all can check their stuff out. And of course, the book club also linked on the website if you want to financially support us, which again, no pressure, but if you want to, you have several different options. You can become a regular supporter on Patreon, or if you want merch, you could do that via Redbubble, or you can do a single time donation via PayPal or Ko-fi, whatever works. But again, no pressure, especially this time of year. I know everybody's like, oh, I got my presents for, my sister's cousins, 3rd grade teachers, dog walker, I'm your father's brother's nephew's former college roommate, type thing. I did see somebody dressed as Dark Helmet and
cool.
a barf and a space ball. If I hadn't been, I think I was in line for something. I saw the space ball. Otherwise, I would have gone up to him and be like, "Are you an asshole?"
You find anything?
I also saw a couple of Spaceballs. I saw a couple of Spaceballs later, and they were carrying a giant comb. So yeah, the fandom is still thriving. But that was different than the Spaceball I'd seen earlier. So I was like, look, some assholes carrying a giant comb. Surrounded by assholes. So, but yeah, don't money that you spend for the holidays, don't spend it on us. That's all good. Tax season is coming. Hold off until you get that refund. Then you must send some of it our way. Go right on ahead. So yeah, So knock on wood. We'll be back with one more episode for the year. And then we will be taking time off for Christmas and New Year's and all that fun stuff because people will be traveling. And I never know really what my schedule is going to be like once I get to my in-laws, because you just never know who's going to be like, hey, I'm in town. You guys busy tomorrow for lunch? So I tend to keep my schedule very open for the holidays. And plus, same thing for these crazy co-hosts of mine, spend time with their families and friends and all the fun stuff. So, but yeah, we should be back. One more episode appropriate for the holidays, at least in my humble opinion. There's some debate, but we can talk about that next episode. So, yeah. But for now, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany and Bango saying goodnight.
This is Sally from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel back in Indianapolis, Indiana. Oh, and if anyone was curious, my step count for the 3 days, slightly over 11 miles over the course of 3 days.
Wow.
Yep, my feet are tired. Thank you, our Fiveish fam, for joining us on this week's geeky journey. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Stay connected with us on our website, thefivishfangirls.com, and follow us on most social media with @FivishFangirls. Plus, check out our nonprofit, Fangirls Give Back, to see how we're making a positive impact in our community. Until next time, stay nerdy and let the squee continue.